Are live. What is going on, everyone? Thank you all so very much for being here. Everyone that's tuned in at this time, we really appreciate it. Anybody that's watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. What is going on, Jake? How are you?
I'm good, feeling a lot better. I was sick for I don't even know why. You can probably still hear it in my voice. I'm still just
You
getting
look a
over
lot
it.
better.
Uh, oof.
You were like,
but
ugh.
but yeah, no. I know. Then at the middle of it, I wasn't feeling good. Then the glorious game one of the Lakers came, and that was just chef's
Beautiful,
kiss,
beautiful.
chef's
Let's
kiss.
start. Let's start there because we didn't get to have a live stream because again you were sick, and then we were gonna do the Monday stream, but figured move it to today. That way it's kind of like right before the game. So what was your thoughts and takeaways and rundown and opinion on game one? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and then we'll start talking about game two. What were your overall thoughts?
All right. So first of all, it was at first I was sure I was like this is gonna be like a double overtime game because it was just staying so close. We were fighting, fighting ahead and everything like that too. And like it was interesting. What really caught my eye is at the beginning of like the second quarter. We didn't really have like nobody really like established themselves. It was like okay, everybody has a few points, few rebounds, whatever. But then we started heating up, and then like players just started playing. Like we had guys just playing like they just all the confidence in the world just got instilled in them. Like I don't know what kind of halftime speech he gave them, but like my goodness, it was just like I was like I feel like it was a completely different team. And I will say I've seen some things I've never seen before in that game. From one, like playoff basketball with LeBron James, and you got LeBron James wide open on the 3 point line, and he wasn't having a too bad of a shooting. Well, he was having too bad of a shooting night. I mean, the thing is that's with LeBron James. Like, if you never know, like he may miss a few shots, but he's still gonna knock them down. But my point is, one of the most interesting things I saw throughout the whole game, and it's probably bad to highlight because of we got the win, but I noticed it and I can't get it out of my mind. You got LeBron James open like a few times on the 3 point line, and you got Austin Reeves just dribbling the ball, and LeBron's like this. He's like, give me that. He's like, I'm ready. Give me the ball. Then Austin Reeves is like, nah, I got this, bro. And he's just literally like, ISO on me. He drives and penetrates or whatever, kicks it out to Rui for three. And then Ruri, oh my goodness, the amazing. I don't know what got into
Mama, there goes that man.
I don't know what got into Hachimura, but my goodness, was a man shooting crazy from downtown. And that was just another like just beautiful spot to see. My overall takeaway is that we are in a very good position, especially when your top scorers are Ruri and Reeves on your team. Like do you know what that means for the rest of this series? Like, we
Yeah.
might demolish them. I agree. When you text me, I agree. We probably will win this in five, if not like it's six, if not five, probably five. Just because when two of your players that aren't your top scorers carry the pretty much game for you, and your two top player. I don't know if that was by design, but then your AD, your LeBron, and your D'Lo don't have to go have crazy 40 and 50 point nights. Like, I don't know. To me, it looks scary, and it was beautiful to see. I think we might sweep this team. It sounds a little loohoo, but like
It's actually not that. It's not that crazy to think. I mean,
I do have a strange feeling we're gonna lose one game in LA though. But yeah, that was my overall takeaway.
well, I mean, overall, we learned a lot from game one, right? We learned that this team can come out with some urgency, that this team can play well from the beginning, which is good. Couple things that need to be fixed still.
Yeah,
One is closing out quarters. The Lakers still struggled to close out quarters, and second quarter especially, and that first quarter. They did a better job in the third quarter. Did a better job in the obviously the fourth quarter was great,
yeah,
but they need to tighten that up. Also, turnovers. They still need to do a better job of keeping the turnovers low and maintaining and playing a full 48 minutes and closing out games. Right. The first, third, and fourth quarter, brilliant. Did an excellent job. Second quarter, we just look like a completely different team. But make those adjustments. The Lakers Lakers were the better team for 40 minutes of that game. Like literally. Like they were the best team for 40 minutes of that game. But even beyond that, you saw that this Lakers team is an actual team. They don't need LeBron and AD to go get you 60 or 80, right? Like I have a world of confidence right now. And I'm over here talking like, in some cases, like we've already won the series, right? And it's because of what I saw from game one. If the Lakers won game one and LeBron had like 45 and AD had like 35 and we won by like 6, I would actually be afraid. Like I
Yeah,
would actually be like, I don't know if this Lakers team is going to be able to do it because it literally took LeBron James and Anthony Davis having monster games in order for us to win. And are they going to be able to do that 4 games a series every series? But that's not what happened. LeBron James and Anthony Davis were great defensively. Absolutely. I mean, Anthony Davis, give him some credit. LeBron James too. I mean, they had 10 blocks between the two of them. Like
oh yeah, it was
lockdown
sweet.
defense. They like LeBron and AD did the dominance on the defensive side and just in general, just like controlling and dictating the game, right? But the other guys, this was a team win. And because it was a team win, is what gives me so much confidence, right? It gives me so much confidence because I look at it and I go, man, like we don't need LeBron and AD to go off for 60 a night for us to win. We can do it, and LeBron and AD can just go get 20 points each and play 30 minutes a night. That is massive. That is huge for just this team's confidence going forward. And you have to give credit to 3 people. You have to give credit to Darvin Ham because Darvin Hams could easily say, hey, Reeves, Rui, LeBron and AD are your guys. You go get them the ball. No, I mean, they literally Rui got hot and they made the transition to allow him to score and were running plays for him.
Yeah,
That's coaching. People are always so quickly to blame the coach and talk about other coaches, and blame the coach when we lose or the coach is this or the coach is that. Well, where's the like nod and like, hey man, you did a great job, and making those adjustments. Everything I said about Rui, it came to fruition almost to a T. And it's not, it was just simply just knowing the type of player Rui is, looking at what he's done for his career in the playoffs and going, oh, he's capable of doing this. I don't expect him to get 29 a game, score 30 a game, but I do think he can be a 15-point a night guy. I do think he matches up extremely well against the Grizzlies because they don't really have anybody that can stop him.
he's your Iguodala. He's the it factor. He's your,
He is. He is. He's a very significant piece, but you got to give Ham props. You also have to give LeBron James and AD props for being superstars that are unselfish enough to allow Reeves and Rui to have games like that.
And that was the beauty of it. Like when you got LeBron sitting on an island and like like I'm sure he smiled. I know he smiled on a couple of those plays because it's like
there was like 2:42 left or something like that in the game, and the Lakers were up 4, I think, something like that around that time. There's like 2:42 left. LeBron got the rebound, and instead of going down the court and running, walked up, handed the ball to Austin Reeves, and then went to the corner. That's arguably the greatest player of all time saying, hey, man, you got it going? Go finish this. Go close the game out. That's an unselfish superstar there. Anthony Davis, we've seen him do it all season, right? And the reason you got to give them credit for that, and I know it sounds simple, like, of course, you feed the hot hand. Of course, you want the guys. Darvin Ham, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James, if that game ended badly, those are the 3 guys that are getting all the blame. If Austin Reeves starts trying to close out the game down the stretch and he doesn't have it and we lose that game, the whole world is going, Darvin Ham is trash. You need to fire him. He doesn't know what he's doing. Why did you put the ball in Austin Reeves' hands when you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the team, blah, blah, blah. You saw it in the Suns game. The Suns had Kevin Durant and they had Devin Booker, and instead of getting them the ball down the stretch, DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul took all the shots and they lost. And everyone was like, what's the point of going and getting Kevin Durant when you have when you're gonna have Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton take all the shots down the stretch.
Yo, bro. By the
LeBron
way,
James,
they're gonna lose that series. We can talk about it later, but they're gonna lose that series.
yeah, probably. I mean, they're
No,
incredible,
bro.
but
There's no probably all about it. I've seen everything I need to see in game one. They're gonna lose that series. Like,
yeah, but
yo,
like
I don't know what's capable of Westbrook, but like, I don't know. He's
defensively, he's been a monster this season.
that's what I'm saying.
It's
It's looking
11.
kind of
It's 11
scary.
and 9 right now. Clippers are winning, but like
He's making Devin Booker look like a rookie in
yeah,
some cases.
but like I mean, we talk. Let's stick it. Like we could touch on that here in a minute. But I want to finish the thought. Is that like that's the thing though? Is that like because again, LeBron he gets all the criticism if that goes bad because everyone's going to say, "Oh, look, LeBron doesn't have the killer instinct. LeBron doesn't have this. LeBron doesn't have that." Blah blah blah. Blah. Like so, the fact that your coach and your two stars trust in you enough to allow you to go do what you did is wonderful. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about this team as a whole. On top of that, got to give D'Angelo Russell credit. There was a lot of questions and a lot of people were really concerned with how D'Lo is going to play. You saw how he played in the with Minnesota last year, and then we saw how he played against Minnesota this year. There were a lot of questions of like, is D'Lo going to be able to play well? He started off rocky, started the game like 0-4 from the field or whatever, and then just completely, and then just like couldn't miss. It just completely turned it around and ended up finishing the game. He shot like 42% from the field overall, but like if you remove that like 0-4 start, he actually shot like 60% from the field. So he was getting great, everything we want to see. It was a balanced attack, and now the Lakers are in prime position. But before we get into the talk for game two, we could talk about the Clippers and the Suns series because I think it's funny. I even made a community post that were like people said we should be worried about the Suns, and I was like, look at what happened in game one. I still think Phoenix actually might win this series. If they lose today, I don't think so. If Phoenix loses today, I think it's over. But I think Phoenix will make the adjustments. I think and look, I said this on this channel, and I said it on my channel, both in a live stream, that the Clippers could be the worst matchup in the world for the Phoenix Suns because they match up so well. Now, I did say that they needed Paul George because I said if Paul George can guard Booker, and you could have Kawhi Leonard guard Kevin Durant, and you could basically just nullify everything that the Phoenix Suns can do. And I said the Phoenix Suns or the Clippers are a deeper team, better defensive team, and they're a team that front to back are made up of a bunch of guys that can guard Devin Booker and Chris Paul, or Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Like literally, you got like 15 guys. You got Covington. You got Batum. You got all these guys that can match up to Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, and you're never going to stop them, but you can slow them down. You make it difficult. Chris Paul cannot guard Russell Westbrook, so there's a mismatch there. Like the Clippers match up really well to this Phoenix Suns team.
And then you have like liabilities on like Phoenix because like Phoenix doesn't really like, you know what I mean? Like who are you gonna really
10 bench points in that game?
Well, but that's the thing. Like, who are you gonna really get to like really shut down Kawhi? You know what I mean? On like a night in and night out basis because it's not gonna be Durant. You know what I mean? I think you're gonna run into you got trouble. I'm telling you got trouble. That game one signified all of the holes that I think Phoenix has. I think it's just too early for them. Look, hey, keep your team, whatever, run it back next year, get some new pieces. They might have a legitimate shot. I just don't think they've had enough time to figure it out. Not with implementing such a monopoly piece like Kevin Durant. I think they need more time. That's all.
I mean, look, this team wasn't built to like, and look, I've said this repeatedly. This team isn't built for this year. This team is built for next year. They went and got Kevin Durant this year because now it's like, hey, let's go get Kevin Durant now so we don't run the risk of losing him. And now we got him. And then next year in the offseason, we can put the pieces around them to actually be good. But I still think that without Paul George, I think that the Suns end up winning the series. I think they'll make the fix, the correction of like, hey, we need to make sure Kevin Durant gets 25 shots a game. And because the problem with Kevin Durant is he's just so passive, right? And that's one of the reasons he fits so well anywhere is because he's not a guy that's like, give me the ball and get out the way, screaming at people. Like he's a guy that he'll just stand in the corner if that's what you want him to do. Where I think Monty Williams will make the adjustments and say, okay, like you need to get Devin Booker and Kevin Durant the ball down the stretch. And I think that, I just think that it'll make these because the reason I think all of these games go down to the stretch, and the problem is I think Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, if they actually are the ones taking the shots down the stretch, I think the reason the Suns lost is because it wasn't them taking the Suns would have won game one as bad as they played. They would have won game one if Devin Booker and Kevin Durant were taking the shots down the stretch. But that didn't happen. Kawhi Leonard was taking all the shots down the stretch, and he was making them. But instead of putting the ball into your superstar hands, my problem is that one, Kawhi Leonard, he's great at closing down the stretch. Paul George is a better shot creator there.
Yeah.
And not just that, it gives you another weapon to close down the stretch, which I think that the Suns will make the adjustments to make somebody else beat you rather than Kawhi, because they were running guys at Kawhi, but not as hard as they should have down the stretch. I just think the Phoenix Suns will make the adjustments to win the series. And I think without Paul George, I don't think that they'll win it. But you never know. I mean, look, I said this when he was on the Lakers, and I said this when he got traded to the Clippers, that there is probably going to be a game in the playoffs where Russell Westbrook probably wins you that game by himself. And we might see that. I mean, look, you make an argument he did that in game one just defensively. He was a monster.
I was going to say, on the defensive side for sure.
And they actually had to pull him out of that game at one point because he was so bad. If he, like, I think that there will be a game in this series where Russell Westbrook will go off for like 30. And you're just gonna see like this incredible Russell Westbrook. So I don't know. It's just the Clippers might arguably have a better team. I just don't think that they have, in tight games down the stretch, have enough closers to compete with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. But I do think that the Clippers have more depth, the better defense, and like the better overall team. But it's gonna be interesting.
What's the word on Paul George? What's his injury?
He's not playing the series. He won't be back. They have to win the series. There's no official timeline for him to come back, but he's definitely missing the first round. That was already reported. So he won't be back if they lose this series. So, but again, the problem is the Phoenix Suns kept letting the Clippers keep it close. And what happens is when you let a team keep you close, that team has an opportunity to beat you. And it's just you keep it in. I mean, we were talking about it in the Jazz game, right? Where that first Jazz game, where it was just like they just keep letting them in, they keep letting them in, and then all of a sudden we're going into overtime, and it was like the Lakers never pulled away. Phoenix Suns had opportunities to do that, and they just never did. I mean, Phoenix started this game they were up 5-0, and now they're down 15-13. They've given up a 15-8 run since the start of the game. And Phoenix just can't stop anybody. And that's the difference. Like every time they got it's basically a scoring match. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But let's get back on the Lakers track here for a minute. So game 2, you got the Lakers. The ball's in the Lakers' court. It's that simple, right? Lakers have no pressure. They got the home court advantage now. Even if they lose this game, they have home court advantage now. The Memphis Grizzlies are a terrible road team. They only have 16 road wins. They're the best home team in the entire league. They finished the season 35-6 at home. And the Lakers won game 1 in Minnesota. There's tons of questions about Ja Morant. I don't think he plays, but I wouldn't be shocked if he tries to tough it out, which may end up being the best thing in the world for the Lakers. Look, if the Lakers win game 2, it's over. It's over. Lakers are not going to lose both home games in LA. Not against one of the worst road teams in the league. Not without Ja Morant.
You know, it's tough that happened to him last year, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like he got
I
injured last.
was actually gonna make a video about that after the series was over. I swear
Yo,
to God, I have it written down on my list of
that
videos.
is tough. You know who it reminds me of just a little bit? Like don't get me wrong, he's nothing. I don't think he's near the level, but like in terms of just the bad, we could call it bad luck. Devin or Derrick Rose, like, a little bit. You know what I mean? Just like this super
I said that. I
explosive
said that in
player, and
March.
he goes
No,
so
I said the
hard,
exact same.
and like at the worst time ever, Derrick Rose gets injured. You know what I mean? Like Derrick Rose without injuries would have like probably 2 chips right now, maybe three.
It's the type of play. So like
Yeah, exactly.
I talked about this in my breakdown video. I said with Jean Morant loves to hit the floor. And
Yeah,
because he loves to hit the floor is always going to be undefeated. And you see that with guys like him, it wears you down. So I said, like when you're in this game against Memphis, you need to give him hard fouls. He wants to be on the ground. Let him say hello to the ground. Lay him on his ass. Let him wear it down. It's playoff basketball. That's what it is. I'm not saying purposely try to hurt him. I'm not saying, he's in the air and grab him and throw him to the ground. But I'm talking about if you're going to challenge him at the rim, challenge him hard. If he blows by you and you're going to bump him, because you see it all the time, guys will bump you and try to get you off your spot. If you're going to do that, you bump them hard. It's playoff basketball. It's about the hard foul. I'm not talking about, like slugging them in the chest or anything like that. But I'm saying, like, he wants to go up and he wants to create contact to hit the ground to try to draw an and one. You make sure that, okay, here, you make it count. No easy buckets, right? So that becomes a big problem. But I just think you have a team in Memphis that one already has questions about their ability to mentally stay tough, right? They get caught up in the chit chat. They get and they're too busy running their mouths than they are playing the game. I mean, even after this game, you had Desmond Baines talking about Rui. Instead of just giving him credit and just saying, man, hey, great game. You got to tip your cap to the guy. The guy was great. It was like, oh, that was our game plan. Your game plan was to keep Rui Hachimura wide open. I mean, it wasn't like he was taking challenge. I completely get trying to have Rui Hachimura be the guy to beat you. 100%. That makes a lot of sense.
If you've done your scouting report, why do you? I guess if you're going to target anybody, you target. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, because I was going to look. I was like, wait, wouldn't you target someone else? But Rui's the guy. If you're going to target anybody, if you're going to say, hey, we're going to have the least skilled player on the team beat us, then that's fair. Or the least skilled player that's going to get the minutes.
There's a difference between making him beat you and leaving him wide open. I mean, even during the regular season, he's not that
their
bad.
Defense was kind of atrocious as well because they weren't just leaving Rui open; they were leaving LeBron open. They were leaving
guys wide open.
Their perimeter defense was. I was like, there were some points where I was just like, is this the playoffs? Like, it was weird. I'm like, why are you? I don't know why you're daring LeBron to shoot it. Like
number one in transition.
Yeah,
and top eight in defense. So they're really good. They're really good at creating turnovers and getting out in transition, and they're really good. And they're one of the best defensive teams in the league, and they're the best team in the league at home. And the Lakers went in there and they controlled that game and dominated that game for the entirety of the game. And look, and I even had people go, "Oh, the Lakers didn't pull away till the end." There's different levels of dominating. Like, there's good old-fashioned, I took you in the back of the woodshed and just beat the dog shit out of you. And then there's just controlling and dictating the game the entirety. That's what the Lakers did. The Lakers from start to finish, outside of that second quarter, the Lakers controlled that entire game. And even in that second quarter, as bad as they played, they were only down 6. So, and then after that, immediately got the lead back and just never looked back the rest of the game. Went into the fourth quarter with the 6-point lead, and then we're up 4 late, and then just completely ran away with it, went on a 15-0 run. They controlled the game, the entirety of the game. It wasn't like it was a back and forth game and there was 20 lead changes and the Grizzlies were going on these tough runs and the Lakers would respond. Like, there was no real back and forth. It was the Lakers had the lead. They lost it in the second quarter. They got it back in the third quarter, and then they just never relinquished it. I think the Grizzlies tied once. But outside of that, they just kept going. And then they just afterwards blew them out. And so it's like the Lakers did their part, and it wasn't something that can't be replicated. It wasn't like guys just they left Rui wide open. And so Desmond Bane's comments means one of two things to me. Either A, you just admitted that your team, that your coach and the organization did not come to this game prepared. Or B, you guys as a team didn't execute the plan properly. Because everything that I said, I made an entire video about Rui Hachimura and said exactly what Rui was going to do to this Grizzlies team. And to a T, everything happened. And I don't have access to stuff that the Memphis Grizzlies do. The Memphis Grizzlies have access to stuff that I could never even dream of. I was just looking at like simple numbers of going, hey, based on the history of Rui Hachimura, based on his career stats, based on X, Y, and Z, Rui's going to be the X factor in this Grizzlies game. He's going to be able to play center because they're small and blah, blah, blah. And I did this whole breakdown. And most of you I know are subscribed to my channel. If you're not subscribed, go check out that breakdown. Go subscribe as Stans Lakers. I just don't want to go heavily into it. But I did the breakdown. If I'm able to know what Rui's going to be able to do, I mean, granted, I didn't think he'd score 30, but you left the guy wide open, so he should have.
Yeah.
But if I'm able to figure that out and put that together and tell you exactly what Rui's going to do, the Memphis Grizzlies should have been able to do that. So either A, your coaching staff did not properly analyze that matchup, or B, they did, and it was like, hey, if he beats us, he beats us. And you guys just didn't execute because you just left him wide open.
Yeah.
He was getting wide open mid-range shots, which he's like 55% from mid-range.
They let him have whatever he wanted. Like
he was getting wide open three. Dude, he's a 6.
See, my thing is after he hit the first two, like, why don't you start closing out on the perimeter? I'm like, y'all are still leaving him open. And he's just gonna I was like, the thing is, like, you let him get high, he's just gonna eat you up now. It's like pause. But
they didn't make any adjustments when he got the hot hand. Like, I understand. Okay, like, let's make him try to beat us. And then he gets hot, and it's like, okay, let's make the adjustment. But no, they just kept letting him do it, and he just kept killing him. And
that's my thing. Like, I was like,
there was no change, no adjustment.
I was like, y'all still not gonna put a hand up. Like, I'm just like, all right, okay.
There were times where Rui was lining up for shots, and they didn't even try to close out. They just turned and tried to get a rebound and left him wide open.
Look,
the guy shoots like 62%.
That's no Westbrook. That ain't Westbrook right there. Where he has like one good night a month. No, that's the thing. Rough.
But that's my thing that I think is funny. Is like there was literally no adjustments by the Grizzlies. They were just like, hey, Rui's killing us. We're just gonna keep letting him kill us. And nothing, no adjustments. And maybe they make those adjustments, but here's the thing. That's the beauty of this Lakers team, is every night it could be somebody else. So they can make the adjustments to shut down Rui, and Beasley could go off for 20.
I was just gonna say, they shut down Rui, and Beasley's gonna step up and go crazy.
Or
if it's not Beasley,
could go get you 25.
Yeah, exactly.
Reeves could go get you 25. Troy Brown, we've seen his ability to go get you 25.
Yeah.
And not just that, you have Schroeder and his ability to go get you 25. And you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who they just scored 20. Right? Like, you don't think they could go get another 10 points if they want to do? Like, of course they could have. So if they do make that adjustment,
that's the beauty right there. They might be able to just, those two, LeBron and AD, might be able just to coast throughout the majority of this series and get ready for whoever we got next. Whether it's, I don't know,
probably Sacramento.
Clippers, Sacramento. But that's the beauty of it. If those two could get rest now, like we're looking solid. We're looking solid.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is too is that like they cannot control and stop everybody, right? They have Anthony Davis, who they have to double team, right? You got LeBron James, you got Rui when he's playing well, you have Austin Reeves when he's playing. There's only 5 people that can guard the other 5. And if you're gonna double if you're going to double Anthony Davis and then you're going to double Rui Hachimura because he's killing you, then now you have LeBron James. It's an impossible task. You have no way. Like, good luck.
And then not to mention, like your defensive efforts are just gonna more so wear you down over the course of the game, that your offense is gonna start to suffer. And then it's just the beauty of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like on the defense end, you're just getting so worn down because you're over here trying to guard essentially what you can't because you're having a double, run back. It's just it's gonna suck for you in the long run because then now you got to go on the offensive end and you're gonna be tired and you got to do that for four court. Like it's yeah, I'm telling you, it's a wrap. Call it.
There's no way. Yeah, again, there's just you're very limited in what you're going to be able to do, and so I just if we, like I said, if we win game 2, it's over, and the Lakers have all the control. Everything is in their control, because they don't have any pressure. If they lose, hey, we're about to play 2 games in LA against a team that's not very good on the road, with Ja Morant with all his questions. And look, the Lakers cannot sleep on the Grizzlies. Grizzlies are still very good, even without Ja Morant. I mean, obviously they're not better without Ja, but they're still a team that's capable of winning a game or two. I don't see how.
Not a series, but a game or two. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I don't see the Lakers. There's no way the Grizzlies are winning a series without Ja.
No.
There's just not. I mean, look at it like this. The Grizzlies had about as good of a game against from Triple J that they could have gotten from him. He didn't get into foul trouble, and he played great.
Yeah.
I mean, he was lights out. Yeah. I mean, he was hitting threes. He was dominant. He was really good. You got the best game you possibly could have from him. You got a great game, one of the better games that you could get from Desmond Baines.
Yeah.
You even had one of your worst players offensively and Dylan Brooks knock down some shots that he usually doesn't make. Everything that could have went well for Memphis went well for Memphis, and they still lost that game.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem. And like Ja wasn't absent. Like Ja was in the whole game. He didn't get hurt till the end. Until the last, what was it, like 6 minutes left or whatever of the fourth quarter. So it's one of those things. Like I just don't see the Lakers losing the series. I don't. I just think they need to win 3 games. You're gonna have at least one game where LeBron James and Anthony Davis just completely dominate, and that might be the game tomorrow. I mean, LeBron and AD might just say, "Hey, let's go get this game." No Ja. And if Ja does play, guess what? You're smacking the out of his hands.
Well, like I'm telling you, a referee like in playoff basketball is just different. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just they just referee different because it's a tougher and they allow more physicality. Like we're seeing right now in the Sun series with like Devin Booker, like he's getting smacked around, but that's because this is playoff basketball. Like I think he's kind of like, which again, he's not new to this, but it's like there was a couple times I'm like, dang, they really did call that, but it's like that's just the reality of it. And this is playoff basketball, and I think now Ja Morant, I think you said it perfectly. His play style just doesn't. It's this type of play style that gets him in trouble sometimes. You know what I mean? It's the explosiveness to the rim. Yeah, it's the explosiveness to the rim, landing hard, jumping up, super high, landing down. And it's just all of that. It's just, if you really break it down from a scientific perspective, like the way you land, the way he lands, and it's same thing with like Derrick Rose, like the chances for injury are just higher just because it's that whole explosive up and down, up and down, up and down.
You're hitting a hard ass floor.
Well, yeah, that part.
Like that's not you're not landing into a trampoline. You're landing onto a literal. It's called a hardwood for a reason. Like
exactly.
But everything wrong with Ja Morant is everything that I said. Granted, I didn't have a platform, a YouTube channel for those years, but I mean, you and me have had the conversations before we even did a YouTube channel where I talked about De'Aaron Fox. And De'Aaron Fox and all his issues. He was Ja Morant before Ja Morant, but he changed and fixed and adapted to everything. Now he has a mid-range. Now he can knock down the three ball. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but it's respectable enough. He developed his game in a way to where he didn't have to rely on just getting hitting the ground hard and that being that. He's evolved, and now look what's happened to the Kings. They've taken another level, and they're probably going to beat the Golden State Warriors. I mean, in 5-6 games, the way it's looking. But if which is still young, he's like 23 years old.
Yeah.
You know, it's just he's an incredible talent. But if Ja can finally develop in the next few years that mid-range to 3-point shot, and I'm not even talking about he has to be like lights out, but just efficient enough to where at least that mid-range to where he doesn't have to just get to the rim every time and fall on his ass. If he can just, like you see Fox you'll see him. He'll go to the rim and explode and get a layup, get an and one, whatever. And then the next play, he'll do the same thing. He'll stop on a dime, pull up mid-range. And then he'll, pump fake, step back, pull up three. If Ja can develop that type of bag to where he can now score from all three levels, then he's going to be unstoppable.
You know what's interesting? Westbrook kind of plays the same way as these guys that we're talking about, but I think the difference is with Westbrook is he's not
Russ doesn't fall though.
That's what I was gonna say. He's not so folly. You know what I mean? Like he gets to the rim, he'll finish. Whether that's like a tomahawk dunk or whatever.
They do that for the fouls.
Yeah.
So you'll see.
Because I'm surprised Westbrook hasn't gotten injured as much as the way Westbrook plays.
Westbrook just goes physically hard to the basket, and he's
on his feet.
He's not trying to draw a foul like regular. Ja, you see Ja, he's at times he'll throw himself into guys and just kind of like throw it up, and then he can land on his feet, but he'll land on his feet and kind of throw himself to the ground, right? And because he's trying to draw the contact, he's trying to draw the foul. Where a guy like Russ doesn't really do that. Like Derrick Rose, his game was he loved to do that little in the
hop step,
and then go up and then draw the contact, and he's just against the trees. And that one time he just came down, and that was it. So it's just different styles. Like Russ is aggressive and physical and getting to the basket, and he's also just so big and strong that he's not as easily bullied. As
he is a bulkier than like a Derrick Rose
He's not trying to flail himself to get a whistle. That's why you also don't see him getting as many free throws as he should get. You look at De'Aaron Fox and you look at like Ja Morant, and like they're two guys that are up there in free throw attempts. And Russ, you look at him and he's getting like 3 a game. And it's like they play the same way. Why isn't Russ getting a whistle? And it's because he's not throwing himself to the ground and flailing. Problem is that gives you wear and tear, and that increases the likelihood of injury. And so
you could be a great finisher without being so physical. You really can. Like Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving is a prime example. Kyrie Irving will still draw the contact, but he's more like finesse with it. Like he's more smooth. He can like navigate through lanes and stuff like that. Versus where like he's not
talking about with like the bag. I mean, he can get to he can beat you off the dribble and get to the hoop and finish through contact with his right or his left. But also he can stop on a dime, pull up mid range. He can step back, pull up 3. He can in transition stop, pull up 3. Like Ja Morant hasn't developed that yet. He needs to develop that, because then that'll give him more longevity throughout his career, but it'll also it'll put him in a better position going forward. But it's just a change that he'll need to make as his career goes forward. But it is a real concern, because again, he could be another playoff series where he's out, and I still don't think that they would have beaten the Lakers. Because again, he played pretty much the whole game in the Laker game, and Lakers still handled it, got it done. And they were still keeping him out of the zone. He had 18 points, but like 6 of those were in transition. So if it wasn't, you remove those 6, he only had 12 points on like 3 of 18 or something like that shooting. So like Vanderbilt did his job on the defensive end. And now if you don't have the problem for Memphis is think of what Vanderbilt has done on guys like Ja Morant, what he's done on guys like Ant-Man,
Smart move to put him
Luca,
on, like,
Kyrie.
yeah,
Yeah, but now here's the problem: if you're Memphis, now if you don't have Jean Morant, now the Lakers are gonna be able to put Vanderbilt on somebody else. So not only are you gonna lose the production of Jean Morant, but now if Desmond Baines starts going off, guess who's guarding Desmond Baines? So then now you just completely took Desmond Baines out of the game. And so now I just don't see a way that the Lakers lose this series. I just don't. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, knock on wood, outside of injury, but
yeah,
if Lakers are healthy, no Jean Morant, I don't think they have a chance. I don't. I don't think
yeah.
I don't. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they sweep, but I still think Memphis probably gets at least one game. But look, if the Lakers win tomorrow, I wouldn't. I think they might sweep them because I just think I think if the Lakers win tomorrow, especially if they win in like a dominant fashion, like if Lakers, and I'm not talking about winning by like 30, if they're just like start to finish, just up the whole game, and they just basically are up by double figures, and they win that game by like 10, I just think Memphis is. I think all of the wind in their sail is going to be gone. And I just think that's it because they're gonna have to go to LA. You're gonna have no Jean Morant. They're down 0-2. They just got controlled twice at home, and now you got to go on the road when you're not a good road team to play the Lakers. And the Lakers' first playoff series with a full crowd, since LeBron James has gotten there.
Yeah.
That is massive. That is massive because you got to remember LeBron didn't make the playoffs the first year. Second year, they got Anthony Davis, and then that was the bubble year.
Yeah.
And then they were in the first round of the playoffs, but it was limited, right? They didn't have you could only have so many people in the arena. Last year, they didn't make the playoffs. And then this year, they're in the playoffs. So this will be the first year that LA will be able to be fully stocked. And LeBron James is going to have the home crowd, so will Anthony Davis and everything. I don't. If the Memphis Grizzlies lose tomorrow, the series is over. And 5 at worst and 5. I don't think it'll go to. I think Lakers will handle business. I think they'll win both.
And it's in our best interest too because we get the extra rest, which we
exactly, and especially because you're probably
look what we just did coming off of 4 days of rest. Like look how we just played. You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly. Well, and now we got 3 days rest. And the beauty is, even after game 2, the Lakers are going to get another like 3 days rest. So that's something else as well. And like, if I'm not mistaken, the Lakers are undefeated when they've had like several days rest before a game, or they've only lost like once, which means Darvin Ham's planning is good when he has time to actually plan and develop. But in general, like it's you want to close this out as quickly as possible because the sooner you close this out, the quicker you can go get some rest, and then go and get ready for your matchup against either the Kings or the Warriors. But the beauty of the Kings and the Warriors, they both have the same play style. So you can prepare for either of them the same way. And then whichever one wins, you just add those adjustments. So, if you're playing the Kings, you just got to make the adjustment for Sabonis and Fox. If you're playing the Warriors, then you just got to make the adjustment for Steph and like Clay, right? Like, but very like either way, they both play the spread out, fast paced, running gun type thing. And another thing, I've seen a lot of people worried, like, oh man, like because you watch the Warriors game, you watch the Kings game, and you're like, man, they're really athletic, they're really fast, lots of threes are being made. It's just like can the Lakers keep up with that pace? Got to keep in mind too is that the reason it looks the way it is because both of those teams are playing the exact same way. It's just like if you had two teams that were playing like the Miami Heat, where they like to slow it down and stuff, it would be a very slow, almost boring game. But you have two teams that both teams want to do is just get out in transition, shoot a bunch of threes, play as fast as humanly possible. And no team can really slow down the other. Neither team really plays defense. So you're getting these high-scoring affairs where they're just shootouts because that's how both teams play. when they play the Lakers are not going to play that way. The Lakers are not going to be playing super fast pace, trying to get into shootouts against the Kings or the Warriors. They're going to be playing dump it down to LeBron and AD and let's close out and get this done type. Like that's how it's going to be. Yeah. So it's going to be a completely different game, completely different series.
You really think Sacramento comes out on top? You think so? Because you said it earlier, it kind of shocked me. I was like, oh.
I do. I just think Sacramento has more. I think they're deeper right now. I think they're more athletic, and I think that their inside game is really helping. See, the problem is the Warriors have zero inside game. So when the shots aren't falling, it's tough. And if you watch those games, the Kings are getting so much easier shots than the Warriors are. I don't think the Warriors can maintain that. I don't think the Warriors get swept or anything like that, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Kings win in like 5. The way that after watching the first 2 games and seeing the way that those unfolded, I don't see a scenario where the Warriors win this game, win this series, unless they magically turn something around. I know people are like, hey, the Warriors are a different team at home, blah, blah. Problem is that they have to win on the road. Warriors don't have home court. The Kings do. So the Kings don't have to win on the road.
Yeah, I know.
There's no pressure for the Kings to win on the road.
But that's the thing, though. When the Warriors do win at home, let's say they take the next 2, you don't want to give a team like that momentum. So when they come back and potentially either win the next 2 or the next 3, not 3, but win the next 2 or 2. You know what I mean? Exactly. You don't want to give them momentum because they may not win 2 they after, let's say they go to Golden State, win 2 back to back. They may not win those 2 next games, but you're probably not winning that series though. You know what I mean? I just don't think the Kings want to go to Golden State and lose twice because if you give
of course not. Of course they don't. But what I'm saying is that it's the pressure isn't on them. The pressure's on the Warriors. Yeah, because if they lose,
they respond game, in the playoffs. They respond very well. Like we've seen.
Yeah, but the Warriors have also never been in this position. The Warriors in the Steph Curry era.
Well, no, we had the.
They have never been They've never been down 0-2 in the history of Steph. Since
that's right. Because that what was it, the Thunder series or was it the Thunder?
They were down 3-1.
Yeah, 3-1. Sorry, that was it. Okay,
But they weren't. But they have never been down 0-2 in the Steph Curry era. So this is something that has never happened before. They're in a position that they've never been in before. And they're playing a team that is bigger, stronger, more athletic, getting easier shots. I don't see the Warriors being able to pull this out unless something just drastically changes.
All I gotta say, if they come out of that series, I don't want to play the next round. Like I don't
play the Warriors and then play the Kings.
Not if they come out of that series. If they come out of the series on top, because they're going to have too much.
Oh no! If the Warriors
back in playoff mode, I don't want to play them.
No, if the Warriors beat the Kings, I will be jumping up and down for joy. We match up so much better against the Warriors than we do the Kings. So much better. We have mismatches everywhere against the Warriors. We don't have those same mismatches against the Kings. The only thing that you can make an argument, the Kings actually have more matchups or have more mismatches than the Lakers do. Just the difference. The reason I think we beat the Kings is because I think if it comes down to stops, the Lakers will get those stops because they just have the better defense.
Yeah,
and they have because Sacramento can't score, because Sacramento can't defend. The Lakers are going to be able to stay in those games offensively.
Yeah.
So when it starts getting tight, because the problem you're seeing in the Kings game is the games are tight, but the Warriors can't get stops against the Kings. So it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then because the Kings are generating easier buckets than the Warriors, that's the difference. The games are super tight, super tight, super tight, super tight. Neither team can stop each other, but one team is getting much easier buckets while the other team is having to get Steph and Clay get some crazy heroics. And then all of a sudden, that's the difference. That's why the Kings end up pulling away and winning those games, at least the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Right? So unless that changes and the Warriors can generate easier buckets, which I don't know how, right? Because that's the problem is that The Kings just are too big for the Warriors. The problem, the thing that the Kings won't have is they won't have that advantage against us, right? You're seeing the athleticism of Harrison Barnes and Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox and all of these guys. They're just super fast, super athletic, super young, and it's just wearing on the Warriors over the course of the game. Where with the Lakers, we have that same youth. We have more like our guys are bigger and stockier. We have Anthony Davis who just loves to eat Sabonis alive because Sabonis can't guard him. You have Vanderbilt to guard Fox, right? Like we match up well against them. But when you look at the Warriors have nobody in the interior that can even. I mean, like Kevin Looney and Draymond Green usually do a pretty good job against Anthony Davis, but Anthony Davis still gives you like 30 and 15 a game against them. So he's going to get that in the playoffs. They don't like Andrew Wiggins is not going to be able to guard LeBron James. And you have Jared Vanderbilt that can run around and chase Steph all game. And that, especially when he doesn't have to score or do anything, like that's his only job, right? So it's like your only job is to just chase around Steph all day. And you have Schroeder. Not just that, but we've already shown, because we've beaten them 3 times. So we've already shown that they have a hard time guarding Schroeder and D'Lo on the court together because they're 2 very different types of players. And so it throws the Warriors up. We've already seen all the mismatches play out. I mean, we've dominated the Warriors in all this. Like, it wasn't like they were close and we just, pulled away. No, I mean, start to finish, we basically controlled those games. I would much rather play the Warriors than the Kings. The only concern with the Warriors is their experience, right? The Warriors are experienced,
and that's the only thing. Is just playoffs versus no. But I do agree. Like everything shows that we should. Yeah, and we shouldn't have a problem with the Warriors. It's just that with the experience, it's tough.
The Clippers are about to smack Phoenix again. They're about to be up 14. They're about to be up 14. Oh, Kawhi missed the free throw. Never mind. He is they're about to be up 13.
I told you, bro. Hey, you think Timberwolves make it out of that series?
They get ran through.
No, I think so too. But I was just curious to see what you thought.
I think they can win a game or 2.
You think so? Denver might get to the Western Conference then, probably, maybe. I don't know.
I think Denver beats either of these teams, the Clippers or the Sun.
Yeah.
And look, I actually think we would.
I think their toughest opponent is us. I truly do. Like
because we just match up. We just match up really well. Like we have the best matchup in the world.
And we have shown that we can control that game. Like we can control that game. If we have shown that.
Like if we play the Phoenix Suns, like if the Phoenix Suns win this series, and we play Phoenix in the Western Finals, this Phoenix team, I think we beat in 5 games. Like from what I've seen in these 2 games, the Lakers run through these guys. I mean, bad.
I'm telling you, they're not making out of that series. I know what you're saying if they do, but there's no way.
I mean, our biggest concern is the Clippers. I actually think we beat the Clippers in a playoff series. But how much of the...
You think the Clippers are more of a concern if they have Paul George versus the Nuggets, though? Is that what you're saying?
It's because the Clippers just match up really well.
Well, they're deeper than us, barely, but they're deeper than us.
Yeah, but it's not even so much that. It's just it's how they match up against Braun, and that becomes a problem because they have so many guys. The problem with the Clippers series, the problem with the Clippers series is you're either going to need Superman LeBron, or you're going to need the role players to play like they did in game 1 for at least 4 games, where LeBron's not going to have to do everything. The Clippers are going to be so focused on LeBron James and trying to slop him and slow him down that all your other role guys are going to be able to go get you 20 a game, and they're going to have to consistently keep that up. If they can win the series. I do believe we have all the tools to beat the Clippers, but you're gonna need a.
That's the best possible person that can guard LeBron, though, is Kawhi out of the whole series. They
just have a team that matches up very well against us, and so that's probably our biggest threat is the Clippers, because I mean the Clippers literally built the team to contend against us. The reason the Clippers can't beat anyone else, like it seems like, or the last few years, outside of injuries, is because like their team isn't really built for everybody else. Their team is built for like, hey, LeBron James is here. Let's stop LeBron and beat them. But there's questions of like how much does the 11 wins in a row just mentally have an impact on the Lakers, which I don't think so. Look, I think if the Lakers didn't play, 5 games in 6 nights or whatever it was against the Clippers, I actually think that would have been a different game, a different series in general. But I do. I really think Denver beats either of these teams.
You know what's funny about that though? Clippers can never make it out of the second round, right? So if they make it out of the if they make it out of the first round and get to Denver, it's like, I kid you not, it's the Clippers curse. It is the Clippers curse. That would be crazy. That would be like legitimately crazy if they lose again in the second round.
See, the Clippers are just getting such easy baskets though. That's the problem, because Phoenix just has no defense. I'm telling you, Denver's running through either of these teams. Because the problem is like the Clippers match up really well against the Lakers, but they don't match up well against Denver. They just don't. They don't match up at all against Denver. So that's going to be the problem, and neither do the Suns. But anyway, let's get in the chat here a little bit. Try to get through as many of these as we can before we skate on out of here. Must-win game. I don't know if it's a must-win game, but it's definitely the Lakers should treat it as such. Because if you win if you win this game, the series is over.
Yeah.
It's just how many games are you winning it? You win it in 4, you win it in 5, you win it in 6.
Well, if we win this next game, we definitely shouldn't win in 6. I don't think so. We should definitely win in 5 if we win this next game.
Look, coming in with the fire. What's going on, Speedy? Appreciate you. Lakers at 4. Yes, I agree with you. I agree. Let's get it. Did Jake have an unspecified virus of unknown origin, or just simple?
Look, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's something going around right now. Look, none of the doctors, none of the nurses know what it is, but look, I heard it from the horse's mouth. They don't know what it is. It's not COVID. It's not the flu, and I'm not the only one that's gotten it. A bunch of people have gotten it, and it's weird. It's like unspecified. There's no name for it. I'm like, we're just gonna have to name this I don't know. Yeah, hell no, don't name it that. People be walking around and be like, yeah, no, I got the Jake this weekend. It's like, what?
I think you guys are just a bunch of wimps. But what are you, a bunch of girls? Or something? Austin knows that LeBron isn't 100%. Yeah. Does Laker fan base like Austin more than AC? Ooh, that's tough. Modern Laker fans, absolutely. Austin is better defensively. But man, AC Green was nice. Problem is most modern Laker fans probably don't even know who AC is. That's probably the difference. But a towel boy and a floor sleeper get more blame than players for Lakers losses. Facts. Westbrook went into like some fan area to shit talk some dad and his little kitty is something different. He is, dude. He was shit talking the reporters before the game.
His energy. I know you love it. I know you love his energy in the series.
I stuck up for Russ to my detriment at times. I love Russ. Don't get me wrong. And Russ really helped win that series. If Austin would have failed, LeBron and AD would have been called non-closers. Exactly. That's why you got to credit them. Because if they lost, I mean, it would have been horrific.
But that's the thing, though. It's a recognizing that. If that was the case, then they would have just said, hey, Austin, you don't have it right now. We're going to take the ball out of your hands. We need to win this game. Let's play this inside-out ball for LeBron and AD. It would have been that simple. You know what I mean?
If Lakers don't have enough money for AR, they should decline Beasley's contract. Problem: Lakers have money for him regardless. Like, unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Where it's like, oh, let's just wave off Beasley and wave off like Mo Bamba or whatever to keep AR. They could basically get rid of everyone that they need to that they have next season, except for like a handful of people, and they still wouldn't change. Lakers can only offer Reeves so much money. Now another team can offer more and they can match it because he's restricted. So the Lakers have control. They're just going to have to pay. That's the only thing. The Claw. Every time I hear the Claw, I think of Toy Story. I miss his laugh at fan events in Toronto.
Yeah, Kawhi's.
I don't. I don't know why Durant's team was always the favorite. Yeah, because it's Kevin Durant. He's the man, the myth, the legend, the one that gets
Yo,
swept in the
I
first
almost want
round.
to put. Look. I'm not even a
Dude, if
betting
he gets
man,
swept
but I almost
again
want
in
to
the
put.
first round, oh
Look,
my
I almost
god.
want to put money on it. Like they're not making out of this series. I'm sorry, but they're not.
Dude, Phoenix has lost, or Kevin Durant. Sorry, Kevin Durant has lost what, his last like 7 playoff series or something like that. Something crazy like that. Like this dude, yeah, I don't know, it's crazy. But
His GOAT conversation is definitely declining. Don't get me wrong, it's not because of him, but unfortunately,
yeah,
he just put himself in questionable situations. That's all.
yeah, he's a very specific player. Pure scorers always get more edge over more well-rounded players from teams. Yeah, especially when you're the kind of scorer that Kevin Durant is. Kevin Durant's taking over right now. If Ja plays, best believe we slapping hard at that ball. Facts, without a doubt. No worries, I'm here. Like fam, what's going on, Key Man? Appreciate you.
What's up?
Rui shot like 55% from 3. His only playoff series, playoff baseball is different. Yeah, like I said, he's like 61% or something like that, 62% from 3. In his playoff series, and he's like 50. I think he's 55% from the field overall, something like that. Like the dude is like lights out. Do you run another YouTube channel or a base? You look like Fate Decided. I look
No,
like Fate Decided.
that's actually his
Crazy.
twin. He has a
Really?
twin
Yeah.
for the other
We do
channel,
look a lot alike, right?
Yeah.
Now, Buck already spilled the beans. Yes, I am Fate Decided. Very true. Very true. And I appreciate you, Philadelphia. Hey, you guys just signed Hurts to a huge contract. He's now the highest paid player in the league. But yes, I look like Fate Decided because I am Fate Decided. So appreciate you. Appreciate you. I'm glad you found both channels. That's great. Ja literally 11 feet off the ground. Yeah, facts. Suns are in trouble. They are. We'd sweep the Warriors. I think so too. Or at least at 5. Lakers our Clippers are for real. Clippers are, man, they really are. They're looking good so far. That wasn't a good shot. Although Phoenix is making a little run. I love being a Laker fan. Y'all really keep us updated. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, real. Yeah, that's why we're here. We're here trying to keep the party going. Spurs, Kawhi is here. It'd be a 7-game series. Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. I think that would be it would be a tough series, tough matchup, period. But any parting words before we get on out of here?
No. Let's do a little let's do a solid prediction. Where you're at. For this series. I'm gonna say we close it in as much as I don't want to say this, I'm gonna say we close it in see, I should just go with my gut and say sweep. You know, F it. I'm just gonna go with my gut. I say sweep 4-0. What about you?
If Lakers win tomorrow, it's a sweep. If Lakers lose tomorrow, they win in 6.
Okay. All right.
I think that they'll lose that. They'll lose if they lose the game tomorrow. I think they win the 2 home games. They'll go up 3-1. Memphis will have that miracle game at home, and then we close out Game 6 in LA. So if we win tomorrow, we close out in 4. If we lose tomorrow, we beat them in 6. That's my guess. So appreciate you, Bluck. You're awesome. But yeah, all right, everyone, on your way out, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We greatly appreciate you if you